Hey, Craig, I meant to start this part just talking about the pool playing, but just something there that sort of come to my mind. Would you be able to would every dog track that races now have punters that concentrate on it, or would you be able to find somewhere that there's probably only one or two or nobody, so you'd have it all to yourself, serious good punters?
I think there's some tracks like that are just unviable, but they still will have people that are following it. So you could probably have like Peeler Grange yourself, but the racing's not for enough money, and it's sort of like one card a week, so it won't be a viable option. But I'm pretty sure every track will have people that really follow everywhere they go. I mean, I always thought like at one point Doncaster, I felt like I was the only person watching, and then you get to know certain things, and all of a sudden there's five, six, and then by the time you finish punting there, you're like, oh yeah, there's like 16, 70 people watching it. But you just get to know, and a lot of people just stay under the radar. They won't tell you where they're betting or what they're doing. I know a lad at the minute who's betting Kinsley, and Kinsley had been another place that I'd have always said no one bets at Kinsley, no one bothers with it. But clearly there are people out there that are betting sort of everywhere, and I think no matter where you go, you'll stumble across somebody. But I think the key is to be in somewhere where there's not as many people watching, because the more people watching, the harder it is, really.
Okay, right. So everybody, I think, has played pool. The pub pool teams or whatever, back at least when I was young anyway, every pub had a pool team. But not everybody can play it professionally or semi-professionally. So tell us a bit about your pool playing.
Yeah, it's a weird one, really, because there's not really any money in it. So a lot of the money side of it actually comes from gambling. Um, like even if you was a top five professional, you'd probably make maybe 25K on the year or something if you're very, very fortunate. The winner of the world championships gets like 15 grand or something like that. So there's not loads of money in it, but like I always sort of started off like anyone playing in the pub as a kid, just for my old man to just go, here's 50p, get out of my way for an hour or so. And then it was a case of you get probably £1.50, and it was like, don't come back, for an hour. So you had to learn to win, and it was like winner stays on and stuff like that down the pub. So and yeah, just gradually just started playing and improved, and then went for like youth county trials. And looking back, you just think I was terrible, really. But at the time, you were buzzing for stuff like the youths and that, and then yeah, played for like Lancashire youths. We won a few things with Lancashire youth team, but we was lucky because there's like five or six of us that were all like in the England team. Like a year after, so there's a lot of good players in the team and a lot of good players in the area. So I got lucky that I managed to get the practice and you know improve off other people. Similar to the punting, really. You learn off other people, and the main thing you learn off is actually by going out there and playing. And then yeah, got into the England team, and everything escalated from there, really.
Now, I went to I think it's somebody's birthday drinks or so in a club, private club, and in the corner was a pool table, and there was guys there playing for what looked to me like astronomical amounts of money, and they were being videoed to put out on. They look like they've been put out on WhatsApp or whatever. Loads of play. So is that the sort of way you make money? Challenge matches and people coming from other areas to play each other and betting going on like that.
Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, the money matches are you can do as much as little as you can, but it's like because I've been out of the game for quite a while, I'd come back in a little bit under the radar, so I managed to get games that are decent for me, and they're not for huge sums of money, but they're like I mean the first game I played back was for 2,500 each, my 2.5 grand against his. But what you always do, you always let your mates have a little bit of a bet, and stuff like that. So I'd had £1,000 myself, and we played at the club, managed to win that, and then you just trying to get games that you're never going to get games that you're a certainty in, but you're getting games that are just good games for you. You're a 4 to 7 twos on poke, and that's what I always try and aim around. And you've got to be honest with yourself as well, because there's so many out there that are, you know, disillusioned. Really, you've just got no idea. Like, and they think they're favourite in games when they're not. And I think the punting side of that actually helps. And you've got to be really realistic about your level, because if you're not, you're going to burn a hole in your pocket, really.
Is there an unofficial sort of form book going around? You obviously you guys get to know each other. I mean, if you came down to Devon and played the guys that I was watching at the club, would you have any? Is there any way of any idea about them? Would they be known if they're that sort of level?
Yeah, you just get to know. I mean, there's a few, like, I mean, even down that way, Darren McVicker, Jez Graham, Jamie Graham. So that's just like from that sort of way that I'd know of them, because as there's like the Ultimate Tour at the minute, and there's the IPA Tour. So like they're the two professional bodies, and just the years of being on the circuit, really, you get to know lads that go there and go to other tournaments, and then they talk. Everyone talks a little bit because it's quite a close community. So like we have lads that just basically don't go to the tours, but you'd still turn around. They come up in conversation, so you end up hearing of them. Even if you don't actually know their standard, you'll go like, oh, well, they rate them so. And there's other things as well. Like you can look on websites and local sort of websites and just see what the local stats are against the better players and stuff, and you get a feel for it. It wouldn't be hard to do a little bit of research.
Okay, so if you're fully professional, you say you can only earn about 25 grand a year. What would that come from? Like sponsorship, and is that the sort of level of the prize money? So would betting be a big part of even the professional game amongst the players and stuff?
Yeah, because like, I mean, recently Sean Story, I think he was a former nine ball player, has just played Ian Alley. I think there's a clip somewhere of the ending that people should check out. They were playing for 180,000, I think 90,000 a piece.
Well, they put that up
Um,
themselves.
yeah, well, I think
Backers.
Sean's had all backers, but they're on a free roll to win like 20% of it, really. So, even if they don't have a penny on themselves, normally players take 20% of the winnings. So they're on a free go to win like 18 grand. But they've got to go out and they've got to practice for 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks or whatever, and put the hard yards in. And it was 29 all, to be honest. And Sean's on a black, and someone's lobbed a bottle of Peroni on the on the table.
Not just stop oil, was it?
It may as well have been, to be honest.
um, no, we're gonna get this talking about winning money and stuff. You've landed some famous touches over the years. And once again, I've been told this by mates of yours. £1,000 on Born Worry at 25 to 1 for the Irish Derby. Is that right?
Yeah, I had. We went that. To be fair, there's a few of us, like we all went down to the Irish Derby last year. Yeah, basically just he's shown pace there with Explosive Boy, and he sort of burned him off down the back, and he swung a bit wide coming home. And I didn't realise that that's what he'd do every night. But if I'd have known that, I probably wouldn't have been quite as heavily as invested. But yeah, I just got it in my head that look, he's going to win the Derby, and yeah, struck the bet, and it was 500 at 25 and 500 at 20, so it was like 22 and a half to 1. But yeah, that came off quite fortunate, really.
And Magico at 66 to 1 for the English Derby.
Yeah, I had 300 quid on him. He run at a trial stakes at Toaster. And again, he run well, and I was looking at the market, sort of seeing where he was, and I thought he probably should be about 28 to 25s. And yeah, struck a bet. I'd played a few that English Derby, to be honest. I probably put about 1,400 quid into the market, but he got a dream run in the final, and somehow he managed to he managed to win. Like, I don't quite know how, but we got away with one.
Now, I've been told you've owned some really good dogs over the years. Can you tell us a couple of the highlights?
Yeah, probably the biggest one was Duala Prince. He won a heat of the Derby 2000. Oh God, now you're asking. 2021, 20, no, 2020, I think. But yeah, he won like a heat of the Derby. He didn't cost the earth either. He only cost 2,500 quid. Jim McComb trained him for me. She did some job with him, like, and yeah, not won any real competitions or anything like that, but like he won on a few big nights for us. Like he won on the Gold Cup final night, and yeah, like I say, he didn't cost the earth. I mean, the last sort of 12, 18 months, I've probably spent a bit too much on dogs. But yeah, I've had some nice dogs that have just won at like open level. Really, nothing beyond that. But I always try and buy a nice dog and try and buy something for competitions. But it's yeah, it's hard work landing one, to be honest.
Well, I'm told that you sort of concentrate on top class dogs if you can. Is that? I mean, how do you pick them? Is it the breeding? Try, how would you decide on what to invest quite a lot of money in?
Just trying to find something that's like, I mean, bar probably the ball Freddie I've got at the minute. He was on an auction site, and I actually thought he'd go for 20,000 ish. And I was coming back from Ireland actually, and I just decided that look, if I can get him for 15,000, I'd be happy. He had some monster runs on his form. He'd gone off the boil a little bit, when he was up for sale. But I'm thinking, if you've got a trainer there that you believe that can get them back, then that's the bit of value in buying the dog and stuff. We didn't manage to quite get him back to what he was in at the beginning of his career, but he's still there now. He's in with Paul Hennessy at the minute. But yeah, a lot of them is just trying to see what you think you can get a little bit of value out of. Like I wouldn't be one for overpaying for dogs. But Sporting Yankee, he did 28.62 around there. I think he was 5 grand. He looked like being a nice dog, but just had a few injuries and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of it is just trying to see what they've done, trying to find like hidden speed a little bit as well, like dogs with loads of early, maybe that they're missing the track or maybe just running over a little bit too far, and just trying to find something that'll suit a certain track where you can have you can pick it up for say 5 or 6 grand, and yeah, have them be a competition dog maybe over 450, or maybe a slightly lesser distance.
Now, is there? I mean, is there a future in investing that sort of money in greyhounds to run in the UK? You think there
No,
is a future in it?
no,
There's
no,
more of a
absolutely not.
passion.
Yeah, it's just something that I enjoy. I like having dogs. I like going to what. Being honest, like that's part of it is getting me out of the house and actually going to the track, and having it's a social thing as well. Just having a few beers and getting out, and yeah, and going on the road. But to be honest, I've just put them all in Ireland because the game over here is dreadful. Really, it's there's more competitions than there were, but it's still just it feels like, especially from where I'm based in the northeast, like just everything. Every greyhound, proper greyhound track, like there's Doncaster run 483, which is a great distance, but they don't have any opens. And then after that, for a proper stiff galloping track, you're looking at Central Park and Hove, and it's quicker to get to Bloody Island, like.
So, just coming up finally now, which direction do you see your career, various careers going in the future? You're going to be concentrating on pool, hunting. Which way are you headed?
I don't know, to be honest. It's a difficult one to answer because at the minute I have just, like I say, I've got right back into the pool. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm not sure why that's come about because, like I said, I did have 4 years where my queue I think was just in my mate's house, and I didn't even know where it was at one point. But I've just got back into it. I'm enjoying it. So at the minute I'm playing. I've got a game a week on Sunday, which is the 16th. Playing a guy who's a pro for I think probably £10,000 ish, and then the week after I'll have another game. So at the minute I'm probably playing a lot more pool, but I'll always sort of for the big events like the Irish Derby, English Derby. I'll always put a little bit of time aside for sort of the big events because that's when you can actually get a bet on. And if you're not doing them cards and you're not doing them competitions, then really you're daft.
Just quickly, do you play better or worse? I assume you play better when there's a load of money riding on it for the pool. You have no
Yeah, I
nerves.
kind no, I think you get over it because if once you separate yourself from the money and it's not about money and it's not about anything, it's just about winning a match. You've got to treat it as, I'll look at it and I'll go, right, I'm playing him in a match and race to 25. If I win, everything that's good from it comes from winning the match rather than thinking, there's lads out there that will be like, oh, this is for X, Y, and Z amount. And before you know it, you've started badly. And by the time you've actually settled in, you sort of knackered. You've got to have good mental strength to play for quite decent sums. But I like it because it's me in charge of my own destiny rather than a dog running around the track. It's you sort of stood there. I'm nervous if I ever bet on a dog, whereas if I bet myself, I'm going, well, I've got to pop the balls, I've got to play the right shots and do the right things. So it's kind of in my own control, and I control it. It's good.
And then finally, Craig, do you think you'll ever get that share in a horse?
No, I don't think so. Too much of a dog man now. I've fully converted.
Brilliant. Well, that's Craig, Dave. Thank you very much.
Nice one. Cheers, Simon.
Thank you.